Welcome to our webinar entitled Investor-State Dispute Settlement, Examining the Latest Reforms. My name is Angela Ha and I am counsel at Volterra Fietta. I'm joined today by Magdalena Kovalchuk-Asher, associate at Volterra Fietta. Our law firm is focused on public international law and experienced in acting for both claimants and respondent states in high-stakes investment treaty arbitrations. You'll find our contact details at the end of this presentation. As you will now see on the screen, we have divided this webinar into three parts. In the first part of the webinar, we begin with a brief overview of ISDS. What is investor-state dispute settlement? How did it come about? And what are the criticisms? In other words, why and how is the system coming under pressure to reform? In the second part of the webinar, we will examine in detail a number of the most salient and important investor-state dispute settlement reforms, before ending with some brief concluding observations. And so, to begin with, a brief overview of investor-state dispute settlement. Well, investing abroad has long been both an attractive and a risky bet. When we use the phrase investor-state dispute settlement today, what we usually mean is the much narrower concept of investment treaty arbitration, the ability as an investor to bring a direct claim against the state over alleged violations of obligations enshrined within a bilateral or multilateral investment treaty. But of course, this was not always the way in which such disputes were typically resolved. And so to kick us off, Magda, why don't you take us through the origins and history of ISDS?
Thank you, Angela. So historically, a foreign investor had no direct claim against a state in international law. Instead, if the foreign investor found himself in a dispute with the host state or the state hosting them, the foreign investor could do one of two things. First, the foreign investor could request their own government to espouse a claim on their behalf. This type of diplomatic protection has since been termed gunboat diplomacy, as it normally involved the home state of the foreign investor sending gunboats to the host state. The presence of the boats created pressure on the host state. However, as you might imagine, it could sometimes escalate to bombarding and ransacking of cities and ships.